key finding of the report is that that this year we're seeing that the number of hungry, or the chronic undernourished, as we call them, is continuing to go up. So if we look at 2019, 10 million more people in the world have now fallen into that category of being hungry. If we look at the last 5 years, it's 60 million. So the key message is that the trend is not good. We've done a whole new estimation with new data and improved data from the countries, and this message is still confirmed and reconfirmed that we're heading in the wrong direction.
In terms of heading in the wrong direction, what does that do towards goals to eliminating hunger as a whole?
Right now, we're moving in the wrong direction. Instead of decreasing hunger for the last 5 years, we've seen hunger numbers steadily increase. It's not like we're just slowing down, we're moving in the opposite direction, they're increasing. And also what we've done in this report this year is we've done some estimations and projections up to 2030 to see, you know, how far off track we are. And what it shows is that by 2030, we could be at 840 million people that are undernourished. And that's actually the highest since 2004. So it means that we're wiping away our gains that we've made in the last 15, 18, 20 years.
Based on your research, what's contributing to that?
For the last 3 years, we've looked in depth at 3 areas that what's driving this trend of increasing hunger. The first one we looked at was conflict. And in many parts of the world, conflicts are becoming more complex, contracted, and that is contributing to chronic hunger. The other element is climate, increasing climate variability and extremes, changes in seasons, which is creating problems of people's income, but also access to food. Last year, we also focused on economic slowdowns. You know, the impact that COVID is another shock now, and it's a tremendous shock that's having an impact globally, this pandemic. You also have disruptions in supply chains. So all of these factors contribute to also increases in hunger.
I wanted to ask you about that because we've been talking about, you know, a macro global effects of hunger. But if we drill down to the African continent, what are the main concerns there? By
the end of 2030, Africa can become the place where not only has the highest prevalence or the proportion, but the highest number globally. So that's quite alarming in a geographic shift that we're seeing by 2030. And again, it's a combination of factors. It's the conflict, it's the climate, it's the economic. There is some good news coming out in terms of, you know, some of the economic growth in the countries and the development that's happening. However, the challenges are huge. So yes, Africa is one of the regions that we're especially concerned about. But the other focus of this report, where we're highlighting that's really important, it's also important for Africa, is the issue is it's not enough to have just enough food. It's about having healthy, nutritious food. And you know, our estimates are that 3 billion people around the world cannot afford a nutritious diet. And if we look at Africa and South Asia, you know, about 57% of the population there cannot even afford a healthy diet. So this has big implications. And I think, you know, why is it important to have a healthy diet? Because it's actually linked to food insecurity as well as malnutrition. So we see that the affordability, if a diet is not affordable that's nutritious, we see higher rates of child stunting, we see higher rates of undernourishment, but also we see overweight and obesity because there's multiple forms of malnutrition. So, you know, not being able to have enough money to afford the cost of a nutritious diet is an important factor that is also driving these problems around hunger and malnutrition.